All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How you all? I hope everyone are doing well. And yes, let us start with the revision lectures of CA Inter Paper 6B Strategic Management. Now, before my introduction, before everything, now say guys, you guys have rupees 1 lakh with you. Now, you want to invest this particular 1 lakh into a company. Since you are into finance background, you want to invest the 1 lakh which is there into a stock market. What are the, listen to the question properly, what are the different factors you'll be looking after to invest this 1 lakh? All right, some will say profits of the company, some will say assets or proper balance sheet of the company, some will say ratios, a proper debt equity ratio, all this. Some will say, now say, think out of the box which you have. If you want to invest in a company called Kinley, of course that is owned by Coca-Cola, but example, if you want to invest in a company called Kinley, what will you also look at? Yes, Pistillery, right? So these are nothing but your competitors. And also, you know Satyam scam, right? So there is a company called Satyam. They artificially hike their profits. Now, if the same Satyam board of directors are also the directors in the company you want to invest, you'll be investing it. No, right? So board of directors, and say I can also say it as management, board of directors, all this you'll be looking at. Now if you see this entire 1 lakh, I can divide into two. So before investing that 1 lakh of you into the company, I can see that you can look after two aspects. One is called as what, where the numbers are involved, it is called as financial aspects. The another one is called as what, non financial aspects. This financial aspects is nothing but your paper 6A, which is financial management, and the non financial factors like who are your competitors, how the board of directors should work, everything will be in chapter 6B, which is strategic management. Now SM is for 50 marks, FM is for 50 marks, SM is for 50 marks. So this SM, we have MCQ, which is question number 1 for 15 marks, and rest you will be having a theory to write for 35. 100% this is a theory paper, 35 marks. So second question, you will have it as mandatory. So the second question is a compulsory question. You have to write, no choice. There are 3 questions in this, 5 into 3, 15 marks. So you have 15 here, 15 here, 30. And the next 3, 4, 5, what you will have, you have to write any 2 questions out of it. Here you will be having choice. But if you go with a selective study, like if you study only 1 chapter or 3 chapters or 4 chapter, you left with one, imagine that ICAI is giving it in a mandatory question and you're screwed. So what you have to do, you have to listen to this revision lectures properly, study whatever there in the study material 100%, and trust me, this is one of the easiest way to score an exemption in a subject. Why? Because if you see accounting, you'll have this much of books. If you see auditing, so much of books. But if you see strategic management, there are 5 chapters literally, and all the chapters are very small little chapters. So entire SM you have 5 chapters. And what is SM completely about? This is about a business case studies, how you have to operate a business practically. It is all about a strategic management, and who else can teach this subject better than myself being a businessman? Students, I am Mohan Nagendra. I'm a practicing cost accountant. I own a couple of business called Goli Soda. I do manage an events called Fourth Group Events. We did bigger shows in Andhra, and I am there to teach this subject completely for you. So this batch, since it's a revision batch, I will be completing the entire SM in roughly around 8 to 10 hours. So you have 5 chapters. 4 chapters are very easy. It will take around 1 hour each. So roughly we'll complete in 4 to 5 hours of 4 chapters. Fifth chapter, that's a bit lengthy, so we'll take some time. And again, there are some case studies where ICAI has released. We'll also discuss that. So completely 8 to 10 hours, if you can dedicate this revision lectures to your study, it will be helpful to you. Also, the material I'll be following is completely ICAI material. ICAI material, page by page, we will go. And now what you have to do is, be it ICAI material, be it any other material, you can follow any material, because everyone will be following the base material Bible or ICAI. So what you have to do is, you have to take your book, take the question bank, take the study material, and what we will do is, chapter by chapter we'll complete it. So first chapter, once the 1 hour revision lecture is done, what you have to do is, you have to study the entire study material, you do the question bank, chalo, chapter number 1 is closed. Next, again you watch the lecture number 2 of the chapter number 2, and you complete it. This batch is applicable for May 26, and for September and for the next January, I'm releasing the regular batches which will be uploaded. The details will be uploaded soon, but for now we'll complete the revision of the chapter number 1. Yes, I hope all of you have your books handy. Chalo, introduction. Say earlier, guys, when you guys are going for a job, earlier when the chartered accountants are going for the job, if you see, if there are 100 jobs, hardly 200 people used to apply. But you know the competitive scenario right now. For a little jobs, how many people are applying? So there is one element which has been added, which is called as a strategy. So you have to use your strategy properly, and then you have to secure that place in the job. It is not only for a job, it is for a practice, it is also for a business. If you see earlier practice, hardly we can find few offices, but right now there are for every street literally we have 3 to 4 firms. And then also the same way for a business, you start a coffee shop in your area. If it is going well, 10 days down the line you see another 3 coffee shops lying in your road. Why? Because you have a competitive environment around. Due to this competitive environment, you are not only traditionally you should look after the numbers, you have to change your thinking level strategically. So all the professionals, including chartered accountants, are working towards the growth of businesses must possess the knowledge of sound concepts of strategic management. This is why it is important for a chartered accountants like you, future chartered accountants, to have an idea about what is about a strategic management. With this, you will be able to know how to run a business properly, and you can also, when you are into a job, you can guide your employers how to do the business properly. Now we are moving on to the main topics, which is called as meaning and nature of strategic management. Yes. So if you see, our subject name is called strategic management. We have 2 terms in it. One is called as strategy, second one is called as management. Strategy, we'll keep that for 5 minutes aside. We will study something called as what? Management. Now, if whenever I say the term management, 2 faces should flash into your mind. The first one is called as Ratan Tata. The second phase is called as Rajamouli. So the management has 2 definitions. One definition related to Ratan Tata, second definition related to Rajamouli. Then what is Ratan Tata? Ratan Tata is a key person in an organization. So it's the same way management is also a key group in an organization. Who are in charge of its affairs, whatever the operations that the business do, they are the in charge of the affairs of the business. So who is Ratan Tata? Is a key group in an organization who are in charge of its affairs, right? So they are called as chief organ. Just like how is heart a chief organ in your body, management is also a chief organ for a business. They make the business purposeful and productive entity by bringing together. If you see, guys, what is business? Manpower, there will be somewhere else. Money, there will be somewhere else. Material, somewhere else. Technology, somewhere else. And this all together, if you combine, that is also called, that is only called as business. So who does it? Management. Now management again is a key group in an organization who are in charge of its affairs. They are the chief organ which makes the organization purposeful and productive by bringing together the manpower, money, material, technology, and they are combining it as a whole. Now this is the first definition of the management. Now second definition is the second phase. Say yes, a small point here. So what you have to do, you have to use your resources effectively and efficiently. Now, what is difference between effectively and efficiently? Effectively is called as doing right things. Doing right things. Example, these days trendy business are your millets business, millet idli, all this kind of thing, right? So when you start that particular business, you're doing a right thing, you're doing effectively. Then what is efficiently? Doing things right, like there is no wastage in your business, all this comes under your effectively. So this is called as doing right things, and this is called as doing things right. Now clear? So what you have to do? The management uses the resources effectively and efficiently. Now coming on to a second definition. Who is Rajamouli, by the way? Rajamouli is a movie director, right? What does movie director do? So he undertakes every aspect of editing, music, and he combinedly, yes, do it as a movie. So like that, how the Rajamouli has different functions, our management also has something different functions. They are called as planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and control. So, what is the second definition of the management? It is a set of interrelated functions. So, a different functions and processes like planning. He plans a movie. He organizes everything. He directs the movie. Staffing matlab putting right people in the right place. A proper editor, proper cameraman, all this. And he finally controls the budget and all the things of a movie. This is called as what? Set of interrelated functions like planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and control. See guys, these terms are the key terms which you have to write it in the examination. Without writing these key terms, it is not at all possible for you to score a good mark in the strategic management. What differs between you and your fellow member is writing the keywords properly. If the keywords are written properly, you will 100% score a very good mark in the subject strategic management, right? So we started with the concept of management. What is management? Two phases should flash into your mind. The first one is Ratan Tata, second one is Rajamouli. Ratan Tata is a key group in an organization who are in charge of its affairs. Chief organ making the entity purposeful and productive by bringing together money, material, technology, manpower, all this combining into a whole. Now second definition is SS Rajamouli. Who is Rajamouli? Rajamouli is a director and he does a set of interrelated functions like planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and control. This is the definition of what? Strategic management. Now moving on to the next word called as strategy. So you saw Bahubali, right? Bahubali mein, if you see, before this Kalikeya is coming on to the war for a Bahubali mein, forgot their okay, on their kingdom. So what will happen? All before coming day, Shivagami, Prabhas, Rana, everyone will sit in a war room and they'll discuss these weapons you take care of, these weapons I will take care of. You take the right side of the army, you take the left side, all this, right? So this is called as what? Strategy. But earlier days, strategy is something, a ways to win over an enemy. Earlier days, my enemies are your Kalkeyas, all this stuff. But these days, who are your enemy? Exactly, your competitor. So, earlier days, my strategy matlab ways to win over an enemy. These days, strategy matlab ways to win over an enemy. But here, the enemy is your competitor. Just like how we have a definition of management, two definitions, in here strategy also has two definition. The first definition is strategy is a game plan used by the management. Again, what is management? Two definitions it will be coming. So who strategy is a game plan used by the management to take its number one, market position. Now, if you see Tata's, earlier they were not performing well when they have Indica, all this. So slowly Harrier they launched, slowly Safari they launched, all this. And again, if you see in the EV segment right now, Tata is number one. So what is the strategy? We have to go to EV properly by Nexon, by all the models they are releasing. Right now they are improving the market position. So that is the first thing. Strategy is a game plan used by the management to take the market position. Number two, to conduct its operations. Operations conduction is not an easy task because it all involves with the labor and all the stuff. So to conduct its operations. Number three, to attract and satisfy customer. For any business, customer is a god. Attracting the customer in this competitive world is very difficult. So what you have to do? You have to draft a proper strategy. You compete successfully in the business, and finally, whatever the organizational objectives are there, you achieve that particular objectives, organization objectives. Now, strategy is a game plan used by the management for five. Number one, to take the market position. Number two, to conduct its operations. Number three, attract and satisfy customers. Number four, to compete successfully. Number five, to achieve the organizational objective. A small shortcut where this is called MOCA. Now see, M for market position, O for operations, C for customers, C for compete successfully, H for to achieve the organizational objectives. First definition done. Now, second definition, the strategy is a long range blueprint of an organization. See, whenever you're drafting a strategy, you have to think longer term business has to sustain. A strategy should be for a shorter term also, for a longer term also. But whenever you are thinking, it should be long range, it should helpful for the business. For to get its what? 3Ds. The first D is called as desired image. Second D is called as desired direction, desired destination. Desired image means what it wants to be. Desired direction means what it wants to do and how it wants to do. Desired destination is where it wants to go in the future. That is the second definition of strategy. Okay, so again, strategy has two definitions. The first definition is strategy is a game plan used by the management to conduct its like five things. Number one, MOCA. MOCA में market positions. Number two, operations, attract and satisfy customers, compete successfully to achieve the organizational objectives. Now, second definition is strategy is a long range blueprint of an organization to get its desired image, direction, destination. 3Ds. What is desired image? What it wants to be. What is desired direction? What it wants to do and how it wants to do. What is desired direction? Where it wants to go in the future is called as what? Strategy. So, now we are done with what is meant by management. We are done with what is meant by strategy also. Yes. So, coming on to the next page. One of the most important paragraph for MCQs. There are three MCQs in this. See, when you think that you have formed a beautiful strategy that for the next 10 years, the company will be number one. Now, after forming a strategy, if the management is sitting idle, see, listen to this. If the management is sitting idle, is that possible for a company to go into number one position? No. Just like how your timetable, whatever the beautiful timetable you have been followed, if the implementation is not proper by the management, can you success? No. So, forming a good strategy is not a substitute for a proper management. That's the first MCQ. It is not a substitute for a sound, alert, and responsible management. Now, second one, strategy can never be perfect, flawless, without flaw and optimal. Even the Dettol can kill only 99.99% germs. Strategy being a they have created by humans, so it is not 100% perfect or flawless. The third important MCQ is it should be always flexible and pragmatic. Pragmatic matlab practical. Why strategy should be flexible? Now, Tatas are into EVs, right? Suddenly, tomorrow, Nitin Gadkari comes and announces that from tomorrow, the EV sales, instead of EV, you start using the nitrogen vehicles. Maybe that's another thing which will come into the future. So, they told that in future, the nitrogen will be there. So, what should Tatas do? They should not stick only for EVs now. They have to next again move to the immediate alternative available. So, that is the strategy should be always flexible and pragmatic. Three important MCQ. It is not a substitute for a sound, alert, and responsible management. It can never be perfect, flawless, and optimal. And the last one is it is not. It should be always flexible and pragmatic. Pragmatic matlab it should be practical. Now, in large organizations, strategies are formulated at three levels. What is the first level? Corporate level, divisional level, functional level. Now, say if you say Reliance. So Reliance have how many businesses? Trends, petrol, Geo, and maybe telecom, etc. Now, if you see, again, trends have someone called as purchase manager, finance, HR, like that. Petrol also has the purchase manager, finance, HR. The same way, Geo also has the same thing, right? If you see, the entire Reliance will be called as top level, which is also called as corporate level. These managers which are there here, they are called as middle level. Middle level. These guys which are there, they are called as what? Lower level. Lower level is also called as a functional level. So strategies can be once you are done with your CA or CMA, now where will you join? It is functional level, not the corporate level. Once you get a proper experience after 10 years, then they'll be moving into divisional. After that experience of 10 years, again you'll be moving to something called as a corporate. Okay. So the corporate strategies are formulated by the top managers. Again, if you see, there are three levels. Top level is also called as corporate level. Middle level is called as divisional level. Lower level is called as a functional level. Clear? So moving on to the next one of the most important question once in every three items they will be asking is strategy partly proactive and partly reactive. Now say you are bringing into your area may say in your area there are businesses but there is no proper coffee shop, so you planned a nice cafe in your area. After planning a nice cafe in your area, after 3 months, your business is doing extremely well. Of course, the competitors will be coming and they are starting their own coffee shops. Now, once your competitors start your own coffee shop and they started giving discounts like 10%, 15%, 20%, what will you do? You will start up with come with your own strategies like some inventing some new coffee, getting some new dishes, all this, right? So setting up your own coffee shop initially is called as what? Proactive. Once the competitors are there and they are giving you a tough competition, you're coming up with a new strategies, it is called as reactive. A strategy should be a blend of proactive and reactive. It is not a proactive completely, not a reactive completely. It should be a blend of both proactive and reactive. See, proactive, reactive, which is better? Always being proactive is better, but it is also a reactive should be there, so it should be a blend of proactive and reactive. Why do companies follow proactive? Say Tata getting into EVs early stage may is called as proactive strategy. Why is Tata coming up with an EV? Number one, to improve the company's market position. They know in the petrol segment and the diesel segment, it is difficult for them to compete with Maruti Suzuki. So what they have come up with the EVs. Why? To improve the market position from seventh place to third place, second place, first place, and better financial performance. The more the sales, the more money, cash flow generating into the company. Now, second one, why do companies follow a reactive strategy? Number one, when there is unanticipated developments, you didn't anticipate that your competitor coffee shop will be coming. So, unanticipated developments. And second one is called as what? When there are fresh market conditions. So, what you have to do? You have to immediately jump onto something called as reactive strategy. Classic example for fresh market conditions is Android. Whenever they are moving to Android, people started moving to Android. Nokia, instead of doing a reactive, what they have done, they have started something else, and ultimately, if you see, the company was gone. So, a strategy is not only proactive, not only reactive, it should be a blend of both proactive and reactive. Why do companies follow proactive strategy? To improve the company market position and a better financial performance. Why do companies follow reactive strategy? When there are unanticipated developments and fresh market conditions. A company uses both proactive and reactive strategy. Proactive is also called as planned strategy, whereas reactive strategy is called as adaptive reaction to changes in the environment. So if you see here again, they have mentioned partly proactive, partly reactive. However, not every strategic move is a result of proactive planning. So that is the reason we have something called as reactive. When the business turns an unexpected turn, what you have to do? You have to make some particular adjustment. So that is called as what? Reactive. See this example, a ketchup brand making a healthier ketchup with less sugar and preservatives to attract more customers by letting parents feel safe about the kids consuming the ketchup. Can this be called a strategy? Yes, they are following a proactive strategy. Okay, next. We studied what is strategy, we studied what is management. We'll together study now what is called as a strategic management. Done. So, what are the objectives of strategic management? See, always and always, why we are studying strategic management? To perform better than your competitor. So that is called as what? Creating a competitive advantage so that you can outperform your competitor. So perform better than your competitor is called outperforming the competitor. What are the overall objectives of strategic management? Number one, to create a competitive advantage, which means you are performing better than your competitor. Second one, to guide company successfully through all the changes in the environment. So you cannot eliminate the changes which are there. What you can do, you can strategically implement the proper strategies for guiding company successfully through changes in the environment, that is react in the right manner. Now, what are the overall objectives of strategic management? To create a competitive advantage. Second one, to successfully guide the company through all the changes in the environment. Now, this is the definition of strategic management in the entire SM from chapter number 1 to chapter number 5. What we'll be studying? Number 1, to develop a strategic vision. Number 2, you set the objectives. You craft a strategy, you implement the strategy, you evaluate whether it is perfectly working or not, and finally initiate the necessity corrective adjustments. This entirely in the last chapter we'll be studying, but for right now, the definition of strategic management is you, number one, develop the strategic vision, set the objectives, craft a strategy, implement that particular strategy, evaluate, and if there are any necessity corrective adjustments, you can make. Now, importance of strategic management. Now, what are the importance of strategic management? This one I'll try to explain you with a story. Now, you guys are very sincere, but imagine that someone going to a BCom college. What is their first thing? So the boys will be wherever they find a girl, they'll select one for them, right? So first thing what the boy will do, they'll select a girl. Second one, he immediately runs to his father. Why? Because his father knows all the Sanka plus and minus and any major decisions father will be taking. Right? Firstly, the say imagine that boy name is X. X went to a college, selected a girl. He immediately ran to his father. Why? Because his father know all the plus and minus of the son, and also he is the major decision maker in the life of the son. Now his father gave, with the experience of the father, he gave three advices. Number one, first you approach instead of someone else approaching. What is the first suggestion he gave? First you go and approach instead of someone else approaching. Second one, he told that from now on the future will be completely different. I am facing with your mom, so to face, how to face the future. And his father, with the experience, he will tell you should not fall for this mistakes which are there. Some mistakes, footfall, we also call it as pitfalls. Some suggestions, all the father gave. And finally, he blessed his son. Bless. I hope you'll remember the story. Number first thing, he selected a girl. Second thing, he immediately ran to a father. Why? Because father knows all the plus and minus of a son, and any major decisions father will be taking. Father gave three life lessons. Number one, first you go and approach instead someone else approaching. Second one, how to face the future. Third one, you should save from yourself some mistakes and pitfalls. The last one, the father gave the blessings. Now, if you see, if I'm integrating this with the importance of strategic management, number one, the first thing is defining the SM helps in defining the goals and mission of a company. That's the first one, and his goal is some girl. So the first step is defines the goals and mission. Second one, he immediately ran to the father. Why? Because his father know all the plus and minus. The entire plus is called as what? Core competency. See guys, Apple core competency. Core competency is what is your factor better than your competitors. So what is Apple? Security. What is Zudio's core competency? Yes, exactly. It's the low pricing strategy, low clothing strategy. So that is called as core competency and competitive features. Next, SM also helps in the all the major decisions of a enterprise. So three done. Next, father gave how many suggestions? Three suggestions. First, you go and approach, which means be proactive instead of being what? Reactive. Be proactive instead of being reactive. Next advantage is how to face the future. That is also done. That next advantage is SM helps in the savings against the mistakes and pitfalls. The last one is blessing, right? That is called as longevity of the business. Longevity matlab longer range may the business will be going. Example, going concern in auditing, you will be assuming that this will be for a longer term. So to enhance the longevity of the business, right? So what are the advantages? Defines the goals and mission. Second, two, yes, father is by core competency, and next major decisions. Three advices: be proactive instead of being reactive. How to face the future and all the major decisions. And lastly, enhance the longevity of the business. I hope now you can remember the advantages. Now after all this, okay, X confidently goes to the girl. Do you think that is it that easy for Mr. X to make her fell for him? No, right? Why? Because girls are very, very difficult to understand, right? So what he has to do, he has to give proper time to her. He has to give total costly gifts to her. Even after all this, is there a guarantee that she will fall for him? No, why? Because your competitor will come and take away, and this is Mr. X, which is seeing. So these are nothing but which are the disadvantages or limitations of strategic management. Number one, environment is highly complex and turbulent. It is not easy for you to understand about the environment. Second one, SM is a time consuming process. For a single strategy, you will take a lot of time to implement, to take the decisions. Next, SM is a costly process because you have to hire the experts and you have to pay them the management, consultancy fees, all this, right? The last one, even though you have such a good thing, it is difficult to estimate the competitive responses. So that is the fourth disadvantages which is there. First one, environment is a highly complex and turbulent. Second one, SM is a costly process. Third one, SM is a time taking process. Fourth one, it is difficult to estimate the competitive responses. Now you can remember, yes. So these are the advantages and disadvantages, which is limitations of strategic management. Next topic is called as what? Strategic intent. Says now, after your 10th, if I ask you a question, why did you choose CA? Everyone will have their own answer, right? So, say for example, why you chose CA? So, you have a life goal that you have to earn 100 crores and a good name in the society. So, what is your life dream? To earn 100 crores and to achieve a good name in the society. For that, what you have chose? You have choose CA, right? To clear CA, where are you right now in the current level? Your CA Inter. Now, once to clear the CA Inter, what you have to do? You have to do everyday timetables, you have to do everyday schedules, you have to write the exams properly, all this, right? So, everyday schedules. All these are governed by something called as your values. 100 crore you can earn illegally also, but your values may, your ethically you are earning, that is called values. Now your intention is to earn 100 crores and a good name in a society. For that, what you have to choose? You have chosen CA. First, to complete CA, where are you right now in the current level? It is CA Inter. So everyday schedules you'll be preparing, plans you'll be making, right? All these are something called as goals and objectives. And for entire thing, there is governed by something called as values, right? So every businessman, before asking a question, even when I started my Goli Soda business, the main motto of me starting is to save plastic. So every businessman, before starting a business, he has to ask two questions to himself: what business they wanted to do, why they want to do that particular business. That why is nothing but your intent. Intent is nothing but intention of you to do that particular business. Now again, here, what is your intent? To earn 100 crore and a good name in the society. To that, you have chosen something called as CA, right? That CA is nothing but your vision. CA Inter, to clear CA Inter, where are you right now? It is called as mission. CA Inter. Goals and objectives are nothing but your timetable, schedule, all this. The last one is called, all are governed by something called as values. So intent represents the strategic intent of the firm, what you want to do. So where is this? Every senior manager must define what they wanted to do, why they wanted to do that. Why is nothing but your intent, right? So intent has something called vision, mission, goals and objectives, and it is all governed by something called as values. Now, vision. Vision is clearing CA. In future, what you want to become is called as vision. So, what is vision? In future, what you want to become is called as. Just a second. Yes, in future, what you want to become is called as what? Vision. For that, where are you right now in your current position is called as mission, right? So, we'll discuss each one by one. What is called as vision? Vision is called as directional path in the future. Directional path in the future by targeting four things, which is called as product, market, customer and technology. In future, where you want to go is called as vision. Vision also, it is a blueprint of a company's future position. All right, so we started with intent. Intent is why you want to do that particular business. Now we are doing something called as values. Values are it's a blueprint of a company's future position, which means in future where you want it to go. Next, it focused mainly on product, market, customer, and technology. Where we want to go in the future is called as vision. If you see the example of HDFC Bank to be the one of the largest banks in India. So in future, I want to be one of the largest bank in India. That is called as HDFC ka vision. That means in future where we wanted to go. Now, one of the important question, what are the essentials of strategic vision? To form a vision, what are the essential factors you need to have to form a strategic vision? Always, guys, for me, whenever I hear the term vision, Elon Musk face will flash into my mind. Say, be it acquiring Twitter, be it Cybertruck, be it Starlink, all these examples. Now, to call it as a strategic vision, what are the essentials? Firstly, Musk always thinks creatively. So you have to think creatively. Second one, Elon Musk is a intelligent entrepreneurship. To form a strategic vision, you have to think intelligently. Third one, creates enthusiasm among the members. So Elon Musk always creates the enthusiasm among the members. Last one, clearly the direction in which the organization is headed. So essentials of strategic vision. Number one, Elon Musk thinks creatively. He's an intelligent entrepreneur. Number three, creates enthusiasm among the members. Number four, clearly shows the direction in which the organization is headed. Now, vision is followed by something called as mission. Mission is something where are you right now, your current position. So that is called as mission. Now, if you see the example of HDFC Bank's mission, where are they right now? They're targeting a retail and a wholesale customer segment, whereas the vision of HDFC is to be the India's largest bank in the future. Okay, that is called vision. Vision, they are currently targeting in a retail and a wholesale customer segment. Now, just like how we have an important question in the vision, we also have something called as why should an organization have a mission? Number one, to ensure unanimity of purpose within the organization. So within the organization, everyone is uniformly working towards a particular passion. Second one, to provide a basis for allocating the organizational resources. This resource should be used by that person, this one should be used by that person. So that is called as allocating the organizational resources. After allocating, it should be also helpful for motivating the use of a particular resources. Unanimity of the purpose, you allocate the proper resources, you motivate them to use a particular resources. Establish a general or a common tone where everyone are working for a same cause. Next, it serves as a focal point, center point, as whoever wants to see about a company, if they see the vision, then they can understand what is the company working on. So they translate into the objectives and goals into the work structure. These points you write, that would be fine. Unanimity of purpose, allocate the resources, motivate to use that allocate resources. Next, establish a general term, serves as a focal point, translate into objectives and goal. These are basics, just you can go through it. Next is called as goals and objectives. See, what is the difference between a goal and an objective? ICAI is using this term interchangeably, but there is also a small change they have given. In practical example, your everyday timetable, schedules, all those comes under goals and objectives. Now, goals and objectives may I have to complete chapter 1 SM. That is my, see, what is the difference between the two statements I'm saying right now? I have to complete SM chapter 1, statement number 1. Statement number 2, I have to complete SM chapter 1 by today evening, right? So what is the difference between those two? There is something called as there is a time frame attached. So that is the difference between a goal and an objective. When a time frame has been attached to the goal, that is called as objective. So which is more specific, goals or objectives? Objectives are more specific. So goals are open-ended, objectives are closed-ended. Yes. So to call an objective, just like how your timetable should have a characteristics, objective has also has something called as characteristics. Number one, it should be related to time frame, right? Timetable, how we will prepare: today do this, tomorrow I'll do this, that day after tomorrow I'll do this. So that should be related to something called as time frame. It should be measurable and controllable. So you have to measure it, you have to control it, it should be challenging. Not that SM chapter 1 I have to complete in 10 days, that's not challenging. So the objective should be challenging. It should be concrete and specific. This day I'll do this, next day I'll do that, next. And sometimes when you are done with weekly schedule, you'll treat yourself, right? Just like how companies also give bonuses to their employees. Objectives provide a standards for performance appraisal, and they should correlate with each other, each group 1, group 2, all this you have to properly do. And they should be helpful for the decision making, they should be helpful towards the mission and purpose. You can write. So main 3-4 points, remember, that will be fine. It is like time frame, measurable and controllable. It should be challenging, it should be correlating with each other. Clear? Yes. Now every organization will have a short term objective and a long term objective. If it is a quarterly target, this quarter I have to achieve this much, next quarter I have to achieve this much, so that is a short term. With up to generally quarterly to 3 years, those objectives are called as short term objectives. Then what is long term? 3 years to 5 years, or usually 7 years, but 3 years to 5 years can be considered as a long term objectives. Next 5 years or next 4 years I have to achieve this sale, that's a long term objective. Next quarter I have to achieve this growth, that's a short term objective. Now this long term objective can be found in 7 areas. What are they? P square, E square, CPT. So now you guys are writing foundation. When we wrote, it is called as CPT, right? So P, in profitability we can find a long term objective. In productivity you can find a long term objective. Productivity matlab a company generally producing, industry producing properly, you have to produce all this. Next E, these E all are related to employees, your employee development, your employee relations. Next CPT, C for your competitive position. Next 5 years I have to from 4th place I have to move to 2nd place, that's a competitive position. Next public responsibility, and last one T for technological leadership. How good you will be adopting the technology, that is called as technological leadership. So we are doing goals and objective. What is the difference between a goal and an objective? So time frame, when it is attached to a goal, that is called as objective. Objective can be short term objective, long term objective, and we studied some characteristics like concrete and specific, related to time frame, measurable, controllable, all this. Now the objectives can be short term, long term. Usually short term quarterly to 3 years, 3 years to 5 years is generally a long term. Long term can be found in 7 areas, which is P square, E square, CPT. So P square stands for P for productivity, profitability. E for both the employees, employee relationship, employee development. Next C for competitive position. Next P for public responsibility. T for your technological leadership, right? So see this. For instance, if a company has an ongoing objective of 15% growth every year, firstly, that's a yearly thing. So that's a short-term objective. So like this, you'll have a short-term, and short-term should help for a company to achieve a long-term objectives. Next, all these are guided by something called as what? Values. Values are your deep-rooted principle. Why do people love Ratan Tata so much? Because he has a lots of values and ethics. So values are your deep rooted principles. How do you conduct a business? Your employees will be so much happy to work with you when you have a proper values. So just a basic, you can go through what is meant by values. So if you see your intention, your vision, your mission, goals and objectives, everything are governed by something called as values. Alright, next moving on to the strategic levels in organization. This will be deeply discussed in chapter number 5, but since it is there, I'll be rushing through it. So you have 3 main levels of the management: corporate level, business level, or this is also called as a divisional level, and next is called as functional level. Corporate level may you'll have generally board of directors, all this. Divisional level or a business level, you will have a divisional level managers. Functional level, as I said, we have a marketing manager, HR manager for each specific company will be there for a functional. Now with the diagram, you tell me who are more close to public. Very good. Functional level are most close to public, and who can give the realistic data? Yes, functional level will give the realistic data. Based on the data provided by the functional level, this both will be forming a realistic strategy and everyone will be implementing it properly. But the data will be provided by someone called as a functional. Now, hey guys, you know Reliance. So Reliance, as we said, they are into clothing and they are into other business. Now clothing, again Reliance or maybe Tata, we can say they have two. Tata has a brand called Zudio. Tata has a brand called Westside. So both are owned by Tata. Now, if you see, both are separate department. Zudio again will have a purchase manager, finance manager, HR manager, all this. Again, Westside also have a purchase manager, finance manager, HR manager, all this. But if you see, there is a duplication, right? They have to pay for purchase manager in Zudio also. They have to pay for purchase manager in Westside also. Then Tata came up with the idea, okay, why can't I combine these both? Then this combination, again, this will be having as Tata Clothing. And Tata Clothing will have a purchase manager, finance, HR. Then under that the departments will be the Zudio and Westside. So this is something called as clubbing of similar business together is called as a strategic business unit. This will be detailedly explained in chapter number 5. But for now, you remember a group of similar companies which are merging together under the same branch is called as what? Strategic business unit. Why do they do? Yes, to save the resources and get a more profitability for a company. Your CEOs will have your corporate level will have a CEOs, board of directors, corporate staff, and everyone will be there. And who will be formulating corporate level strategies? The corporate level management will be, and they will be the leaders. Next one. Yes, business level matlab they are generally called as general managers. So GMs, you heard the term, right? So they will be looking after their own individual specific business. Like business level manager of trends will be completely looking after the trends only. Now what are the functional level? They have their own different functions like finance, purchase, production, marketing, HR. All this comes under different people. Now, business level are responsible for their specific division or a specific business. Functional level are more functional to that particular area. If he is a high HR, he should be only concentrating on HR only, right? Yes. Now, what is the relationship between the three levels? Firstly, what are they? Corporate level, business level, and functional level. Functional and a divisional relationship. So, corporate will be reporting to functional will be reporting to divisional will be reporting to corporate. So this is a more of a traditional way of reporting. So that is a relationship between the functional and divisional. We have a independent relation. They will be running independently and each will be reporting to their higher authorities. So that is the functional and divisional relationship. Next one is called as horizontal relationship. Horizontal, how it will be like this, right? So in the same line, what we'll have corporate level, same line we also have divisional level, same line we also have functional level. Generally these can be seen in the time of startups, because startups may every employee will have an access to directly go to their CEOs. So that relation in a specific thing is called as what? Horizontal relationship. Third one is called as a matrix relationship. How a matrix will be like this, right? Now say there is a company called Accenture, TCS, you heard all this, right? Tech Mahindra. What they do, they approach for US companies to get their clients. Now, say this person is working for a TCS. TCS, he should be reporting to the manager of TCS, right? So he has a TCS manager. He get a client to a TCS, say Google, Microsoft, all this will be clients, right? So Google also has its own manager. He should be reporting. Yes. So each person will have two managers. Okay, the same way another person will have two managers, like this, like this, like this. So now you see it is creating a matrix kind of structure. This is called as what? Matrix structure, where it has been temporarily for a task based. Once this task is completed, again he'll be moving on to the another project. So this is called as what? Matrix relationship. So this is all about the chapter, which is chapter number 1. Quickly I'll go through what is chapter number 1. Yes, see the summary. So firstly, we started with the meaning and nature of strategic management. In this first thing, management, two phases flash into your mind. Ratan Tata, Rajamouli. Ratan Tata is a key group in an organization. Rajamouli, planning, organizing, directing, staffing, and control. After that, we studied what is meant by strategy. Strategy again has a two definitions: game plan used by the management to gain its market positions, operational objectives, all this. And see next, another definition is a long range blueprint of an organization for its 3D, which is desired image, direction, and destination. After that, strategy is done. Again, SM we have another important paragraph. It is not a substitute for a sound alert, responsible management, flexible and pragmatic, all this, right? Next, strategic management ka importance and limitations. Firstly, we studied what is meant by strategic management, overall objectives of strategic management to gain a competitive advantage. This one. And now, what is the importance of strategic management? With a story we have discussed, define the goals and mission. The next one, yes, core competencies, all the advantage we have studied. Be proactive instead of reactive, all this. Like limitations mein, environment is highly complex and turbulent, costly process, time taking process, and the last one is difficult to estimate the competitive responses. Then we have something called as what? A strategic intent. What is intent? Intention of a particular senior manager to do that particular business. Every businessman, before starting a business, he has to ask himself two questions: what business they wanted to do, why they want to do that particular business. That why represents a strategic intent of the firm. So after that, we have something called as so example mein, to earn 100 crore and a good name in the society, that is called as intent. For that, what you have chosen? You have chosen CA, that is your vision. Vision is a in future where the company wants to go. What are the essentials of strategic vision? Number one, Elon Musk, think creatively, intelligent entrepreneurship. He creates enthusiasm among the members. He clearly illuminates the direction in which the organization is headed. So after that, we have started something called as mission. Mission is where are you right now in the current level. Next, goals and objectives. What is the difference between a goal and an objective? It's a time frame attached to a goal, that is called as objective. So again, we have a two short-term objective, long-term objectives. So then we have something called as values. Values are your deep-rooted principles which are there. So next, we started something called as levels in the organization. We have corporate level, business level, and functional level. What is the relationship? We have three types of relationship. The tell 1 second. Yes. So functional and divisional. Second one is called as horizontal. The last one is called as matrix. So a few MCQs will do. It's a game plan used by the management, market position, attract and satisfy. So all of the above. Next, strategy is always pragmatic, not flexible. It should be always flexible. It is not always perfect, flawless, and optimal. Correct. It is always perfect. No. Always flexible, but not no. Strategy is a proactive, reactive. It's a blend of proactive and reactive. Reactive strategy is also called as what? Adaptive strategy, because you're adopting. Formulation and their implementation is taken care by both, all the three: top level, middle level, and this one. Next, who are responsible for formulating and developing a retained strategies? Everyone are responsible to give a formulate a realistic strategy, but based on the information provided by the functional level people, right? Yes. Which of the statements should be created the most? Vision should be created the first. Enables an organization to be proactive instead of reactive. It has short range implications. It's an action oriented. These are rigidly defined. It should be flexible. So the option would be 8. Okay. So proactive. 1 second ago. And see the questions ICI is not asking directly, so they are asking indirectly the questions based on the case study. What you do the case study questions which are provided by ICI here, and you write the terminology accordingly. Any doubts, you can always contact me. You can connect with me on Instagram. My user ID is Mohan underscore Nagendra. Yes, you can connect with me on Instagram. Any doubts, you can text me. So I hope you have a great session in the chapter number 1. So after this session, what you have to do, you have to go through the material completely, and you do the question bank. You're done with chapter number 1. In the meanwhile, I'll be releasing the chapter number 2 very soon. Take care, good luck, prepare well, prepare your notes properly. You write down the keywords which are there in, all the theory subjects like auditing, SM. You have to mandatorily write those keywords, and it is the success of you when you write the keywords. Chalo. With this, I conclude the chapter number 1. I'll see you soon in the chapter number 2.